everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. I am here today on Friday, September 18th, which I'm super excited about because it's the weekend. Finally, we have made it through another week of distance learning and yeah, the weekend, super exciting. No school tomorrow. I can't wait. So I am here with a cross-stitch update / I had a new start / I'm going to be talking about some color issues that there might be with Heaven and Earth design charts, but that will be at the end after I do my regular update. So after my last video, the first thing that I had worked on was Mini Home is Where the Magic Is by Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is a chart that I want to have finished in November of this year, so I need to get stitching on it if I want to get it finished. So here's where it was in my last video when I had showed it, and here's where I am now. I only worked on this like 2 days-ish, and I think I did like 2,000 stitches. And I am super excited because you can now kind of see that more of like the house here, and there will be like windows, and yeah, it's looking like a house, so I'm excited about that. I am stitching this on 28 count even weave 2/1 tent stitch, and I am stitching it extreme cross country by color. So I pick a color, stitch it throughout the entire design, and then I move on to the next color. And it's easy to do because Pattern Keeper easily shows you where the color is throughout the whole entire design because all the pages are just put together so nicely. Highlights the symbol for you, you can just stitch the color and you're done with it, which I like because then I can put the color back into my master floss set and have another color done. So there's that. And then the next chart that I have to show is one that, okay, at the beginning of the year I had set percentages on how much I wanted to stitch on each chart. And on one of the charts it's at like 29% still, and I wanted to get to like 40-something% on it, and so it's like I need to stitch on this now if I want to get anywhere close to that goal by the end of this year. And that chart is Tarot Town 2 by Ciro Marchetti, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I will insert here where I was when I started working on it this time. And I only worked on this one again like a day or two and then I put it away, but this is what I got done on it, which I was pretty happy with because now this bottom part is like mostly done in the black, except there's some like tree stuff here. But I got a large chunk of the 310 stitched, and I was stitching this 2/1 full cross, but I was not liking stitching this one full cross, and so I actually ended up changing and I am stitching it tent stitch now. So what I wasn't liking is the 2/1 full cross. It's really thick even with the black, and so when I stitch a row of stitches I like to do the bottom half first and then I like to go back over with the top half of the stitch. It was so thick that I was not able to see when I was going back across. I was like, stitches already looked like they had the top half but they didn't, and so it was just really annoying to me because then it made it take way longer when I would go back to do the top half of the stitch because all the stitches were already really thick looking, and it wasn't unless I was looking in like the right light that you could see like, oh, that doesn't have the diagonal stitch going the right way, and I just wasn't liking it. And then in this area up here it was super thick and hard to like get the needle through, like, and so it wasn't enjoyable, and so I had actually almost considered quitting the chart, but I really didn't want to quit when I have already done like 100,000 stitches on this, and I knew that I wouldn't want to restitch those 100,000 stitches, so if I had quit I would not have been restarting it. So I just decided I would switch to a tent stitch, and I don't really think that you can tell a difference because like, okay, this here was 2/1 full cross, this here in this middle section is the 4/1 tent stitch that I'm doing the black in. And then I think that for the other colors where it's going to be thicker because there's color changes, I might just do a 3-strand tent stitch, and then hopefully that will help make it so it's not as thick as it has been. And for the tent stitch I am doing it the same way that my top stitch was going. So my top stitch, what way does my top stitch go? My top stitch goes this way, so my tent stitch is also going this way, so all the stitches are still going to look, you know, they're going to be going the same direction. There will be no issues with that. So there's that. And now that, I guess I'm putting it away for now, but I need to get it out because that chart is so big that it takes so many stitches to get anywhere, like percentage wise on it, because I think it's like 300,000 stitches. So yeah, it takes forever to make a dent in the percentage. The next chart that I worked on, I only worked on this one again for like a couple days, and I was working on this one at my parents' house when my sister was here, and so like I was stitching, but like we were also like talking and stuff, so I didn't get that much done, is Heaven on Earth 2, which is by Charting Creations, and I will insert here what it looked like before I started working on it, and here is where it is now. I am stitching this on 28 count even weave, 2 over 1 tent stitch, because I've mentioned before that 28 count tent stitch is my favorite coverage wise. I have one chart that I'm doing on 25 count tent stitch, and you can kind of tell that the coverage isn't as good as I get on 28 count doing tent stitch. So there's that chart. That will be put away for now because I am doing kind of like a little test stitch thing that you will see here in a minute. And so I'm going to start off first by talking about like why I even started this. And okay, so at the end of June / beginning of July, there was an issue on Heaven and Earth charts where the software had some of the colors wrong. So where is it? I brought the colors out. Where are the colors? Okay, so there was an issue with this color. 09, right here. This color was not stitching up the way that it was supposed to be, and it ended up having to be replaced by a darker color. So that it was too light than what it should have been. So this is 09. It ended up being replaced with 3371 or 310. So you had this color. It was too light than it should have been. Well, recently in the Heaven and Earth Facebook group, there have been people who are saying that 29 and 32 aren't looking right in their charts. And from what I see when I look at it, it looks like those colors are also too light. So I decided that I wanted to find a chart that uses some of the new colors so that I could stitch them myself, because I wanted to see if there was an issue, because those colors are used in some of my other charts, like Santa's Workshop that I haven't started yet has the new colors, and what else? Oh, Christmas 2 has some of the new colors, but they're more spread out, so you're not going to be able to see if there's a problem as easily as with this chart that I picked. I picked a chart that uses a lot of the new colors, and it uses them in big blocks, so it's like easier to tell if there is something that doesn't look right, because it's just a lot all in one little place, if that makes sense. So I went searching on the site and I found this chart here. This is Quick Stitch Kirby by Walking Melons. So Kirby uses 29 and 32. The 29 is used right here is Kirby's feet. So there's this dark purple here in Kirby's feet. That is supposed to be DMC 29. There is this dark blue. Okay, you see there's a light blue blob. That light blue blob. Surrounding that light blue blob is supposed to be DMC 32. So that's supposed to be a dark blue. Okay, so those are the new colors. So 29 as the dark purple, 32 as this dark blue. Okay, so here's the chart so far that I've been stitching it. So this color here is 29 and this color right here is 32. And they are stitching up a lot lighter than it should be, because I mean from the chart here you can tell that they are supposed to be really, really dark purple and a really, really dark blue. And that's the way that the mock-up is too. The mock-up has them as really dark blue, really dark purple. So that's, like I said, this is supposed to be a dark purple. This is supposed to be a dark blue. And I posted this in the Facebook group and they were like, oh, it looks fine. You should just stand back farther. And I'm just kind of like, even if you stand back farther, it still doesn't look dark purple. But I don't know. So I made one change. So I'm stitching this again changing the colors. So because I want to find out what a good replacement color for 29 would be, because like I said, it's going to be in some other charts that I have and some charts that I would like to eventually stitch one day, so I want to know what would be a good replacement color. So I replaced it up here with 550, and I still don't know what color I'm going to use to replace 32 yet. And then for the 550, I was actually considering too about replacing it with DMC 154. It's looking more red here, but it's kind of a dark purpley red because, like I said, DMC 550 is the darkest actual just like purple that DMC has. They also have DMC 154, which is darker than 550, but it has a slight red tone to it, so I don't know if it's too red for this chart, but yeah. I just know that this here is not like the chart where the feet are supposed to be a really dark purple. So I don't know what to say about that. And it's disappointing too because there are other charts that use a lot of the new colors, like Magic Study. It's a limited edition chart by, I can't remember who it's by, but it's available. It was available I think in May, and then it's also available now if you would like to purchase it. Like I said, it's only available until like August 14th or something because it's limited edition, but it uses, I think it was like 7,000 stitches of 29, and it uses like 17,000 stitches of 32. So that's a lot of stitches that could be looking really light in a chart. So it's like, I don't really know how that's going to turn out. I don't know if anyone is stitching it and has an example of if the colors are looking right, are they looking off, but I just don't think that this is looking really the way that this artwork is showing his feet are supposed to be dark, and it's not. And it almost has like a gray tone. I don't know if you can tell, but the bottom one almost has like a grayish tone to it instead of just being like a dark purple color. So I don't know. Oh, and this was the one where I was talking about coverage wise. So this is being stitched on 25 count even weave, 2/1 tent stitch, and I will say that the coverage in this dark color is not great. So that is why I prefer 28 count. The coverage for me is a lot better than on the 25. So there's that. I'm going to keep stitching more on this bottom row because I would like to stitch more of the 32 to see how the 32 is going to stitch up with the colors around it. And then I am going to also try and find a replacement color to stitch on this thing above it. And then if I like it, I will keep stitching because I actually have enough room on this fabric to keep stitching up, even though I have already kind of wasted this bottom part. And so yeah, we'll see what happens with Kirby, but yeah, I like it. Kirby's just so cute. I saw the Kirby chart and I was just like, his face is just so perfect for this year. He's just like, it's like, that's how I have been all year, Kirby. But yeah, so that is what I have to show for my update for the last couple weeks, and I hope that I will be back in a week or two. It depends. School has been intense. Oh my god, it's kindergarten and first graders and then a 7th grader who basically, my 7th grader can just kind of like do his own thing, so that's fine, but kindergartners and first graders are just like, whoo-hoo, trying to get them to use laptops for school. What? Like, they can't even, like, mute and unmute themselves. Like, okay, they're learning, but you hear just so much yelling in the background of, like, houses and stuff. And not necessarily yelling, but just a lot of noise. A lot. That it's like, how are kids supposed to concentrate when there's so much noise? I don't know. Anyways, so that is all that I have for my cross-stitch update. Thank you, everyone, for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. It is time for me to watch Bleach, stitch Kirby, and finish a White Claw. So I hope you all have a good weekend, and I will see you all next time. Bye.